What's up, gamers? Alonso here, and Alonso's here. And this one's loaded. We've got leaks, bonuses, sales, and a Cyberpunk sequel that might just break the internet. Yeah, but let's start with the one that got me hyped the most. A huge PSVR 2 upgrade that accidentally dropped a major hint. PlayStation 3 games might be finally coming back to PS5. Or to PS5. You heard that right. The most notoriously walled-off generation in the PlayStation archive might be finally playable again on current-gen hardware. And if you've been starving for those classics, this might be the update you've been waiting for. That's not all. June's PS Plus lineup is sneaky good. There's a surprise Days of Play bonus game, and I've got a short list of sales peaks you shouldn't miss. Oh, and Cyberpunk 2 is officially in the works. If you haven't, checked out our video on that. And the early details, insane. So yeah, grab a controller and let's get into it. Now let's talk PSVR 2 because honestly, when games get it right, it's seriously impressive. Visually, it crushes a lot of what we've seen this generation using FSR. And let's be real, FSR just isn't cutting it. Even on its so-called quality mode, it feels like a compromise. I've tested it on both my Steam Deck and main rig, and yeah, I've seen the upgrades over time, but even now, DLSS from 5 years ago still stomps it. The catch? DLSS is hardware locked to Nvidia, which means no love for the PlayStation 5 and its AMD setup. That's why FSR is everywhere. Not because it's great, but because it's available. So while there's been hiccups, looking at you, Jedi Survivor and Star Wars Outlaws, those games did get patched, and when they did, they look great. The loudest voices love to dunk on broken visuals at launch, but once devs go back and polish things, radio silence, no headlines, no hype. But I've actually tried these games post-patch, and when PSVR 2 is dialed in, it's gorgeous. And in Sony's first-party titles where they worked out of the gate, flawless. I still throw on Gran Turismo 7 just to vibe in race trace 60 FPS, and honestly, it's tough to complain when it hits that smooth. But let's talk about the biggest drawback holding PSVR 2 back, and yeah, it's a major one. Across the board, the headset needs a high input resolution, usually around 800p. And I know that sounds wild, people think 720p is ancient history, but in this console's generation, that's just where we're at, especially with anything running on Unreal Engine 5. Unreal Engine 5 is a beast, but it's a beast that was built for next-gen hardware. We're talking PS6 level tech or ultra high-end PCs. Even those rigs struggle. Just look at how the Oblivion remake is running on PC right now. Stuttering, frame drops, inconsistency across the board. It's not great. On console, especially in performance mode, there's really only one way to make ultra instinct. Unreal Engine 5 behave, lower the resolution hard. We're talking 720p being the average, and sometimes it dips as low as 480p or 560p. After that, it's upscalers like FSR or PSSR doing all the heavy lifting to punch the image back to 1080p, 4K, and while that might look good from a distance, it's built on sand. And here's the kicker, comparing PS5 to PSC on this front. Not really fair. Most gaming PCs out there can handle a much higher input resolution before any upscaling kicks in. On PS5, we're using performance or ultra performance presets, while PC gamers burn out the balance, which already starts with a way better image quality. But here's why people, me included, still lean console. Cost and convenience. The barrier to entry is lower and the plug and play experience is just clean. For all its quirks, that's still why consoles take king for a lot of folks. Because of that 800p input resolution limitation, we haven't seen PSVR 2 applied to the games that could really benefit from it, like PS1, PSP, PS2, and potentially even PS3 titles. But that might be about to change. Whether it was an intentional leak or a slip, Moore's Law is dead dropped something interesting in a recent video. He was talking about a major PSVR upgrade and casually mentioned that one of Sony's big focuses is getting it to work with PlayStation 3 games, which honestly desperately needs it. The PS3's hardware was ahead of its time. Outputting at 1080p back in the day was a flex, but in reality, most PS3 games never hit that target. They were locked at dynamic 700p, sometimes dipping as low as 480p, just to keep a stable 30 frames per second. PS2, PSP, and PS1 games ran at even lower resolutions. So if Sony can lower the PSVR's input threshold and use upscaling tech to clean these games up, you could suddenly have classic games looking crisp, clean, and modern without needing remakes. As someone who's played around with this kind of thing on the Steam Deck, I've already seen how good that can look. Using EmuDeck, you get built-in upscalers that lift 360p era games all the way up to 800p. The Steam Deck's native screen resolution, and it's night and day better. That's not even using FSR or DLSS, just basic built-in filters. But they still make these old games pop like they have been remastered. So imagine PSVR 2 doing that on console with cleaner and AI upscaling and stable pipeline and native support. You wouldn't just be playing the classics, you'd be re-experiencing them in a way that feels new. That's a huge win if Sony executes it right. But man, if Sony really rolls out native PS3 emulation on console, not cloud stream, but real hardware-based support, and then says, hey, if you got a PS5 Pro, you can upscale those games with PSVR 2 and hit higher resolutions, even 60 frames per second. Yeah, that's an instant buy for me. Sure, we've had some collections, God of War 3 Remastered, the Nathan Drake collection from the Uncharted games, but that's barely scratching the surface. There's a massive library of PS3 classics that never made the jump to PS4. We're talking Metal Gear Solid 4, the full Infamous saga, the Resistance trilogy, Killzone 2 and 3, the list is stacked. Tenkaichi 3, anybody? If you're like me and grew up with those games, the idea of replaying them in full upscale, clean, high frame rate glory, that hits hard. And this might be closer than people think. We already know Sony's been working on PS3 emulation for years. And the same team behind the modern PS1 and PS2 emulators, implicit conversions, just leaked that they're behind the PS3 project too. If that's true, we're not far off. Now, here's the thing, if you're into PS3 titles or you want the best PSVR 2 experience this gen, grabbing a PS5 Pro while it's on sale is a smart move. I doubt it's dropping lower than $650, and there's a real possibility we'll see price hikes if tariffs return in the next few months. Most outlets are treating that like a sure thing, and Sony's only planning for a 3-month supply window before potential adjustments. So yeah, future-proof yourself. If you care about emulated classics, smooth PSVR 2 performance, or just want that extra horsepower for Unreal Engine 5 games, PS5 Pro at this price is a no-brainer. I've already made up my mind, and I'm telling you now, you won't regret it. Alright, speaking of Sony actually doing something cool, let's talk PS Plus Essential in June, because the lineup is surprisingly solid. First up, NBA 2K25. Yeah, the game that launched back in September, it didn't exactly light up the sales charts, and Take-Two even admitted underperformed. So odds are, Sony swooped in with the deal and now we get the benefit. It's free! If you wanna still playing 2K or wanna jump in, this is the latest version. No catch, just download. Next, Alone in the Dark. I wouldn't call it great. It's not hitting Resident Evil remake levels, but it's a perfectly decent survival horror experience. A bit janky, kind of budget feeling, but for free? Absolutely worth a few hours of your time. Now, if you've got that Jet Set Radio nostalgia in your bloodstream, you're in luck. Bomb Rush Cyberpunk is here. Terrible name, cool game. It's a spiritual successor that actually delivers decent vibes. Reviews were mostly positive, and again, it's free. Added to the library, no pressure. But here's the bonus kicker, because of days of play, we're also getting Destiny 2, the final shape, as a freebie. This brings your Destiny content fully up to date, and if you've been claiming all the expansions Sony's been giving out for PS Plus over time, you've basically built the full Destiny collection without spending anything extra. Unlike Game Pass, where expansions come and go like a loot box timer, PS Plus lets you keep them as long as your sub's active. Huge W. I've seen a few people call this month mid, but honestly, that's cap. NBA 2K25 for free is wild, considering how much they usually nickel and dime you for VC. And if you've been holding out because of the aggressive monetization, this is your chance to jump in without paying full price. Grab it, test it, and if you're still having fun, then maybe spend a little. That's your call. And speaking of stretching your wallet or your parents, Days of Play deals are on fire right now, and we're about to get into my top picks. Let's kick things off with one of the newest games on the list, Atomfall. This one already launched at a $10 discount, dropping from $70 to $60, and it's absolutely worth the price. I finished it in around 15 hours and had a blast. Didn't go to the bathroom once. I'm worried. It's like if Fallout 3 and Elden Ring had a weird post-apocalyptic British baby set in the Lake District that's moody, lush, green, and grim all at once. And with an expansion on the way, I'm definitely going back for more. The shooting, it's serviceable. Think classic Fallout level. Not mind-blowing, but far from bad. Next up, Control Ultimate Edition for $6. Yeah, 6. If you still haven't played Control, what are you doing? The PS5 upgrade makes it look stunning, and this edition includes all the DLC. The story alone is worth the price, but even if you're just looking to play around with the game's physics and freaky setting, it's an absolute steal. Now let's talk about a personal favorite, Devil May Cry 5. One of Capcom's best, period. Fight me. It's criminally underplayed and just $10 right now. If you only buy one game from this list, make it DMC5. The PS5 edition is buttery smooth at 60 frames per second, looks amazing, and the combat, I cannot wait to see what they do with DMC6, but for now, 5 is still an elite action game. And here's a surprise, Forza Horizon 5 is on sale for $48. I know, Xbox game on a PlayStation list, but the port is... I held off at launch because that full price tag felt like a stretch, especially for an older game, but now, $48 is a fair deal, especially if you spring for the Ultimate Edition with the expansions and car packs. I've dumped around 500 hours into this game, most of it with a Logitech wheel, and it's wild how good it feels. If you like racing games with simulation level driving and arcade vibes, Horizon 5 is an easy 10 out of 10. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you're picking up anything from the Days of Play's deals, or if you're just as hyped as I am for Cyberpunk's 2077 sequel, because yep, it's official, Cyberpunk 2 is in pre-production. Go and check our video about. And CD Projekt Red just confirmed it's happening alongside The Witcher 4. Here's the twist, the new US studio, the one behind Phantom Liberty, is leading the charge on Cyberpunk 2, while the European team tackles The Witcher. But here's the real kicker, it's just not Night City anymore. We're heading to a post-apocalyptic version of Chicago 2. 2 cities, 2 vibes, 1 massive RPG playground. And as someone who's already 100% Cyberpunk on PC, I've been waiting for that perfect reason to dive back in. This might just be it. I'm a Midwest guy. I've lived in California, sure, but I'm over the dusty deserts. Give me grit, give me Skyline, give me Chicago. Chicago deep dish, oh my god. If this new team delivers anything close to Phantom's Liberty polish, then we're in for something special. But hey, tell me I'm not crazy. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Are you down for a Double City Cyberpunk sequel? And if you made it this far, hit that like button like it's a hidden loot chest. Smash subscribe like you're breaking open a Chrome crate. And don't forget to share this with a crew that still believes in the magic of next-gen gaming. Like your parents, maybe. For your next mission, choose your path wisely. Check out our other videos, Chrono Odyssey deep dives, or our latest Elden Ring breakdown. This has been Level Up Gaming, where gamers rise together. I'll catch you on the next one. This is Alonso.